Welcome to the Boring Podcast. Tonight we'll calmly talk through something that happened, perhaps, or didn't. If this helps you drift off, we've done our job. Feel free to do nothing at all.
Yes, welcome. We're here, and you're there, or perhaps somewhere else entirely. It doesn't really matter. Tonight we'll discuss something quite mundane, something you probably haven't thought much about, something so ordinary it might just lull you into a peaceful slumber. We'll be exploring, ever so slowly, the fascinatingly uninteresting world of garage door opener buttons. Yes, those little clickers. The ones clipped to your visor, or maybe lost in the abyss of your center console. We'll get to that later, perhaps.
Garage door openers. Such simple devices, yet they perform a task we often take for granted. Think about it. You press a button, and a large, heavy door magically moves up and down. Up and down. It's a repetitive motion, much like this podcast. We'll delve into the intricacies of this seemingly simple action. The button, the click, the whir of the motor. It's a symphony of monotony, wouldn't you say? And we'll be conducting this symphony of boredom for quite some time. So settle in, or don't. It makes no difference to us.
The button itself. Usually a rectangular shape, sometimes square. Often a neutral color, like gray or beige. Maybe even black. It's made of plastic, a hard, unyielding material. You press it with your finger. Your index finger, most likely. Sometimes your thumb. It depends on how you hold the remote. We'll discuss grip styles later, perhaps, in another equally dull episode. But for now, the button. The simple button. So unremarkable, yet so essential to the operation of the garage door. The button is the gateway, so to speak. The key to the kingdom of your garage.
Inside the button, there are things. Electrical things. We won't go into the specifics, not yet anyway, that might be too exciting. Let's just say there are components. These components work together, in a complex yet uninteresting dance, to send a signal. A signal that tells the garage door to do its thing, to open or close, to move up or down. It's a fascinatingly dull process, and we'll be unpacking it bit by bit. Or perhaps not. We might just meander around the topic, like a lazy river of words.
This signal, this invisible messenger, travels through the air. Invisible waves, bouncing around, looking for their target. The garage door opener itself, usually mounted to the ceiling of your garage. A boxy thing, often ignored. Covered in dust, perhaps. We might dedicate a whole episode to the aesthetics of garage door openers. Their varying shapes and sizes. The subtle differences in their beigeness. But for now, let's just picture this signal, this silent command, reaching its destination. The garage door opener.
The garage door opener receives the signal. It recognizes the signal as a command, a request to perform a specific action, to open, or to close. It's a binary choice, really, up or down, open or closed. Like a light switch, but for a much larger, heavier object. And much slower. We'll discuss the speed of garage doors later, in excruciating detail. But for now, let's just focus on the signal. The silent, invisible command that sets the whole process in motion.
Now you might be thinking, this is all very straightforward. And you'd be right. It is. That's the point. This is the Boring Podcast, after all. We're here to bore you, to lull you into a state of relaxed indifference. And what better topic than the inner workings of a garage door opener button? It's a topic so devoid of excitement, so utterly mundane, that it's practically a sleep aid. So just relax and let the monotony wash over you. We'll be here, droning on, for quite some time.
So as we were saying, or rather, as I was saying, and perhaps you were listening, or not, these garage door opener buttons, the ones clipped to your car's sun visor, they're quite something. Or rather, they're not really something at all. Just a small, rectangular piece of plastic, usually. Sometimes a bit rubbery. Not unlike the key fob for your car, but smaller. Often black or gray. Sometimes a sort of beige. Mine is a dark gray, a very unremarkable dark gray. I can't even recall the last time I cleaned it, which is probably something I should do. Or not. It doesn't really matter, I suppose. It just sits there, clipped to the visor, not doing much of anything until it's called upon. Which, if you think about it, isn't all that different from many things in life. Just sitting there, waiting.
Yes, the waiting. The quiet anticipation. Suspended there, attached to the visor. Often overlooked, my visor is a light gray, a rather faded light gray actually. The fabric is a sort of woven material, slightly textured. I can't quite place the material, but it has a certain blandness. A comforting blandness, if there is such a thing. The clip on the garage door opener. Mine's black plastic, a very ordinary black plastic. It grips the visor quite firmly. It has small teeth on the inside of the clip to prevent it from sliding. These teeth, while small, are remarkably effective. I've never had the opener fall off, not once, which is more than I can say for some other things I've clipped to the visor. Pens, mostly. Pens have a tendency to disappear. Or maybe they just roll under the seat, who knows. The mysteries of the car interior.
The mysteries, indeed. The interior of a car is a world unto itself. A small, contained world. Dust collects in strange places. Lost items reappear months later, as if by magic, or just by shifting the seat a bit. Steadfast, reliable, always there, ready to perform its singular function. To open the garage door, or close it, depending on the current state of the door, of course. A simple press of a button. Such a small action, with such a large effect, the door begins to move, slowly, inexorably. Upward, if it's closed. Downward, if it's open. A simple mechanical process, repeated countless times. Day after day, week after week.
This repetition, this predictable movement. It's rather soothing, isn't it? The slow, steady rise and fall of the garage door. A silent ballet of springs and hinges and rollers. A well-choreographed dance, performed in the dim light of the garage. Or in the bright sunlight of a summer afternoon. Or perhaps in the soft glow of a streetlight at dusk. The time of day doesn't really change the mechanics of it, does it? The door still moves. Up and down, up and down. A comforting rhythm. A constant in a world of variables.
A constant. Yes, that's a good way to put it. A constant. Like the ticking of a clock. Or the slow drip of a leaky faucet. Or the hum of the refrigerator in the kitchen. These background noises, these subtle movements, they become part of the fabric of our lives. We barely notice them until they're gone. And then their absence is noticeable, a missing piece of the puzzle. A silence where there was once a sound. A stillness where there was once movement. The garage door opener, with its simple button, it's part of that tapestry. A small, unassuming thread. But a thread nonetheless.
A thread. Yes, a thread in the tapestry. A very specific type of thread, I imagine. Probably a synthetic fiber of some kind. Durable, resistant to wear and tear. Able to withstand the constant pressure of being pressed, day in and day out. Perhaps nylon, or polyester. Or maybe some sort of blend. I'm not entirely sure, but I imagine it's quite strong. It has to be. To perform its function reliably. To send the signal that opens the garage door. A signal that travels invisibly through the air.
Invisible signals. Wireless communication. It's quite remarkable when you think about it. This small plastic button, sending a message through the air to the receiver in the garage. A message that says, open, or close. A simple binary code, transmitted across a small distance. A distance measured in feet, not miles. And yet, it works. And yet, it works. Time after time. A modern marvel, in its own small way, a testament to the ingenuity of, well, someone. I'm not entirely sure who invented the garage door opener, but I'm sure it was someone very clever.
Clever indeed. And practical. They solved a problem. The problem of having to get out of the car to open the garage door. A small problem, perhaps, but a problem nonetheless. Especially in inclement weather. Rain, snow, sleet. No one wants to get out of their warm, dry car in those conditions. And so, the garage door opener was born. A small device. With a big impact. A convenience that we often take for granted. Until it stops working, of course. Then, we realize just how much we rely on it.
Indeed. The small conveniences. The things we don't think about until they're gone. Like the garage door opener. Or the button on the coffee maker. Or the remote control for the television. These small, everyday objects, they make our lives just a little bit easier. And sometimes, that's all we need. Just a little bit easier, a little bit less effort, a little bit less inconvenience. And the garage door opener, with its simple button, it provides just that. A small measure of ease in a world that can often be complicated. Less than person one greater than. Less than person one greater than. As we were saying, or rather, as I believe we may have alluded to earlier, the button on the garage door opener. Well, it's a button, isn't it? A small, often rectangular, sometimes square, occasionally circular, a plastic protrusion, really, designed for the purpose of being depressed or pushed by the application of a finger, the human finger, typically, hand. And this action, this pressing of the button, initiates a sequence of events, a chain reaction, if you will, that culminates in the garage door either opening or closing, depending, of course, on its current state. This is assuming, naturally, that the opener is functioning correctly, the power is on, and there are no obstructions impeding the door's movement. One could say, it's a rather straightforward process, wouldn't you say? Or perhaps not. It's a matter of perspective, really.
Yes, the button. A fascinating piece of technology when you really consider it. It's a simple interface, yet it controls a complex mechanism. We're talking about a small, usually plastic button, sometimes a different material, maybe rubberized perhaps. This button sends a signal, a wireless signal, usually, though some older systems might use a wired connection. But let's assume wireless for the moment. This signal travels, invisibly, through the air to a receiver, which then activates the motor that drives the garage door along its track. Upwards if the door is closed, or downwards if the door is open. It's a marvel of modern engineering, or at least, a convenient application of it. Just a simple press, a gentle depression of the button, and the door begins its slow, steady ascent or descent. Remarkable. Or not. It depends on how you look at it, really.
We were talking about the button, weren't we? Yes, the button. It's remarkable, really, how such a small, unassuming object can control something as large and heavy as a garage door. One presses the button, applies a small amount of pressure, and the door responds. It moves along its designated track, guided by rollers, smoothly, or as smoothly as the mechanism allows. Up or down, open or closed, depending on its initial state. It's a predictable process, generally. Assuming, as previously mentioned, that everything is in working order, and this entire process, this orchestrated movement, is initiated by the simple act of pressing a button. It's rather fascinating, or not. I suppose it depends on your level of interest in garage doors.
The signal, of course, is key to the whole operation. The button sends a coded signal, a specific sequence of pulses, to the receiver. This code ensures that only your button, or rather, buttons programmed with the same code, can operate your garage door. It's a security measure preventing unauthorized access. This signal, as I mentioned earlier, travels wirelessly, through the air, like an invisible message. It's quite remarkable when you think about it, this invisible communication between the button and the receiver, leading to the movement of the garage door, up or down, depending, again, on its initial state. It's a simple concept, yet quite complex in its execution. Or at least, it involves several components working together harmoniously. Or so we hope.
So the button, as we've established, sends a signal. A wireless signal, usually. This signal is the trigger, the catalyst, for the movement of the garage door. A simple press, and the process begins. The door moves along its track, guided by rollers, smoothly, or as smoothly as the mechanism allows, as we've said before. It's a marvel of modern engineering, or at least, a common application of well-understood principles. And all of this is initiated by the simple act of pressing a button. A small, often plastic, sometimes rubberized button. It's quite remarkable, or perhaps not.
Think about the convenience, the ease of use. No more manually lifting the heavy garage door. Just a press of a button, and the door opens, allowing you to drive your vehicle into or out of the garage. It's a time saver, a convenience we often take for granted. And it all starts with the button. This small, unassuming button that controls the movement of a much larger object, up or down, depending, as we've established, on the initial state of the door. It's a simple system, yet effective. Or at least, usually effective.
The button. Yes, we were discussing the button. It's quite a simple device, really. A small piece of plastic, or perhaps rubber, sometimes metal, designed to be pressed. This simple action triggers a series of events, culminating in the opening or closing of the garage door, up or down, depending on the initial state, as we've repeated several times now. It's a straightforward process, generally speaking. And it all begins with the button.
And what about the times when the button doesn't work? A dead battery, perhaps, or a faulty connection? These are the times when we truly appreciate the convenience of the automated garage door opener. When it malfunctions, we are forced to confront the manual operation of the door, a task that can be quite cumbersome, especially with larger, heavier doors. It's in these moments of inconvenience that we truly value the simple press of a button.
So as we were saying, or rather as I was saying, and perhaps you were listening, these garage door opener buttons, the ones clipped to the visor in your car, they often have a small, sometimes rectangular, sometimes square, occasionally circular, button. It's usually a dark color, maybe dark gray or black, sometimes a darkish blue. And you press it. This action, this pressing, sends a signal. Now, I'm not an electrical engineer. Not even close. In fact, I once tried to change a light bulb and nearly electrocuted myself. A very dull story for another time. But the point is, this signal tells the garage door to do something.
Yes, the something it tells the garage door to do is quite specific, isn't it? It either opens or closes. Or, in some rare cases, it might stop midway. We've all been there, haven't we? Watching the garage door slowly inch its way up, then suddenly stop. Is it open? Is it closed? It's a liminal space, a sort of in-between state of being. Almost philosophical if you think about it long enough, which I sometimes do. I once spent a good 15 minutes just staring at a half-open garage door, pondering the nature of existence. But back to the button. The signal, it's quite remarkable, really.
Remarkable in its simplicity, perhaps. Or perhaps not. I mean, it's just a button after all. We push buttons all the time. Elevator buttons. Microwave buttons. Buttons on our shirts. Buttons, everywhere. And yet each button serves a specific purpose. The elevator button takes you to a different floor. The microwave button heats your food. And the garage door button, well, we've covered that. Opens or closes the garage door, or sometimes stops it midway. It all depends, really. On the button, I suppose. And the garage door. And the signal. So many factors at play.
The signal, yes. Let's talk more about the signal. Invisible to the naked eye, it travels through the air, like a silent whisper. From the button to the receiver, a tiny, almost imperceptible journey. It's fascinating when you really delve into the mechanics of it all. I once read an entire article about radio waves, and it was surprisingly not that interesting. But I finished it anyway. It was a slow Tuesday. I think it was raining. Oh, maybe it wasn't. I can't quite recall. But the point is, the signal, it's there, doing its thing, silently, invisibly, opening and closing our garage doors.
Opening and closing, up and down, like a gentle, mechanical dance. Or perhaps not so gentle. Sometimes those garage doors can be quite noisy, a loud rumble as they move along their tracks. I once heard a garage door open so loudly that it woke the neighbor's dog. The dog then barked for a good 5 minutes. It was quite disruptive, actually. I was trying to have a nap. A very important nap, I might add. I hadn't slept well the night before. I think it was the full moon, or maybe it wasn't. I often get those mixed up.
A full moon. Yes, they can be quite bright. Almost like a giant spotlight in the sky. I once tried to take a picture of a full moon with my phone, but it just looked like a blurry white blob. Disappointing, really. I was hoping to post it online, but it wasn't post-worthy. Not even close. It's difficult to capture the true majesty of the moon with a phone camera. You need specialized equipment, really. A telescope, perhaps. or a very good camera, and a tripod, and a lot of patience. Which, admittedly, I sometimes lack, especially when it comes to photography.
Patience is a virtue, they say. Or perhaps they don't. I can't quite recall. But it's a good quality to have, I suppose, especially when dealing with, well, with anything, really. Garage doors, for example. Sometimes they can be quite temperamental. They might get stuck. Or refuse to open, or close too quickly. It can be quite frustrating. I once spent a good 20 minutes trying to coax a garage door open. It was a cold morning, too. And I was late for work. Not a good start to the day.
A cold morning. Yes, those can be unpleasant, especially when you have to go outside. I prefer warm mornings. Sunny, with a gentle breeze, perfect for Bort. Well, for not much, really. Just for being. Sitting on the porch, perhaps. Sipping a cup of tea. Or coffee. Or just plain water. Hydration is important. We'll need water to survive. It's a basic human necessity. Like breathing. And sleeping. And pushing buttons on garage door openers.
Pushing buttons, eyes. Back to the buttons. Those little, unassuming buttons. They control so much. The fate of our garage doors rests in our hands, or rather, in our fingertips. A simple press. A silent signal. And the door obeys. It's quite remarkable when you think about it. Or perhaps not. It's just a garage door after all. Less than. Less than. Person 1 greater than. Less than. Person 1 greater than. So we were talking about the garage door opener, the little clicker device, the one you keep in your car, maybe clipped to the visor, or perhaps rattling around in a little compartment or maybe even in a cup holder. And we were discussing the button. The one you push, sometimes it's a big button, sometimes smaller, maybe even square or rectangular. It's the button that sends the signal, the invisible electronic signal, that travels through the air like a tiny, unseen messenger to the receiver, which is up there, in the garage, connected to the motor. It tells the door to go up or down. Remember that? We talked about that.
Yes, the button. It's usually a dark gray or black, maybe even a beige color. Sometimes they light up, a little LED light, sometimes red, sometimes green, indicating something. We don't know what it indicates yet, but it glows, or maybe blinks, depending on the model. And you push it, you depress it with your finger, your thumb usually, exerting a small amount of pressure until it clicks, or perhaps makes a sort of soft thud. And that sends the signal. The signal goes from the button, the one we push, to the receiver, and the door moves. Maybe up, maybe down, depending on its current state. Open or closed. It's quite a thing.
Indeed. Quite a thing. The way it just works. The pushing of the button, the tiny click, and the subsequent movement of the large garage door. Up or down. It's almost magical. But it's not magic, of course. It's technology. Electronics. Invisible signals. We discussed the nature of these signals. Briefly, I believe. In a previous segment, perhaps part 2 or 3 of this very podcast. The signals go from the button to the receiver. Remember?
We did. We talked about the signal, the invisible waves traveling through the air. They are waves, like tiny ripples in a very small pond, but invisible. And these waves, they carry the message, the command, from the button to the receiver. Open or close, depending on the current state of the door being up or down, open or closed, one or the other. It's a binary system, isn't it? Up or down, on or off.
Yes, a binary system. 1 or 0. Up or down. Open or closed. It's quite straightforward, really, when you break it down. Push the button. Signal travels. Door moves. We've covered this, haven't we? I feel we've covered this ground before. The button, the signal, the receiver, the door. It's a system. A simple system, but a system nonetheless. Quite fascinating. In its own way.
Fascinating, yes. The way it all works together. The button, the signal, the receiver, and then the motor, of course, which we haven't discussed in great detail yet, but it's there, humming away, quietly, doing the work, the heavy lifting, so to speak, lifting the door, or lowering it, up or down, responding to the signal sent from the button we push, in the car, or maybe in the house. Sometimes, there's a button inside the house, too.
Another button. Yes. sometimes located on the wall, near the door leading into the house from the garage. Often a larger button than the one on the remote, a different shape perhaps. But the same principle applies. You push it, and the door moves. Remarkable, isn't it? Push a button, and a large, heavy door moves, up or down, open or closed, all thanks to that little button, and the invisible signal it sends.
The signal, yes. We keep coming back to the signal. Those invisible waves, traveling silently through the air, carrying the message, the command, to open or close the door, up or down. And it happens so quickly, almost instantaneously. You push the button, and the door starts moving, almost immediately. It's quite a marvel of modern engineering. Or perhaps not so modern, depending on the age of the garage door openers, of course. Some are older than others. But they all operate on the same basic principle.
So, the button. You press it, and something happens. But what is that something? We've discussed the mechanics of the door going up and down, the springs, the tracks, the rollers. But the button itself, it's often overlooked, isn't it? Just a small, often rectangular, sometimes square, occasionally circular piece of plastic. It might be beige, or white, or perhaps even a slightly off-white, almost gray, but not quite. It sits there, unassuming, until called upon to perform its singular, yet crucial function. You press it, and the door moves. It's quite remarkable when you think about it, or perhaps not remarkable at all. It depends on your perspective, really.
Indeed. The button. A small, unassuming interface between your intention and the complex machinery of the garage door. It's often a muted color, designed to blend in, to not draw attention to itself. Perhaps a slightly textured surface, or perfectly smooth. Sometimes it even has a small light, a tiny LED, to indicate its status, blinking or glowing softly. We interact with it almost without thinking. A brief press, a momentary connection, and the signal is sent. But where does that signal go? And how does it translate into the whirring of the motor and the smooth, almost silent, glide of the door along its tracks? It's a question worth pondering, even if the answer isn't particularly exciting. Or maybe it is. It's all relative.
The signal. Yes, let's consider the signal. It's invisible, intangible. It travels wirelessly, through the air, from the button to the receiver. It's a form of electromagnetic radiation, similar to radio waves. These waves, these invisible messengers, carry the command, the instruction, to open or close the door. They propagate outwards, expanding in all directions, until they reach their destination, the receiver, tucked away inside the garage, listening, waiting, for the specific frequency that corresponds to your particular button. It's quite a complex process for such a simple action. Pressing a button.
This invisible signal, it's quite remarkable. It travels at the speed of light, or nearly so. It navigates through walls and obstacles, though sometimes interference can occur. Think of all the other signals in the air, the radio waves, the Wi-Fi signals, the television broadcasts, all vying for space in the electromagnetic spectrum. And yet, your garage door opener signal, it finds its way, it connects with the receiver. It's a testament to the ingenuity of modern technology. Or perhaps just a simple matter of physics. It depends on how you look at it, I suppose. The key is the specific frequency. Each opener operates on a slightly different frequency, to avoid interference with your neighbor's garage door. Imagine the chaos if everyone's garage doors opened and closed simultaneously.
Imagine the cacophony. A symphony of whirring motors, the rhythmic clatter of doors rising and falling, a ballet of panels ascending and descending. It's a thought, isn't it? But back to the button. The act of pressing it. It's such a mundane action, yet it initiates this chain of events, this cascade of cause and effect. The pressure of your finger, the slight click of the button, the silent transmission of the signal, the whirring of the motor, the smooth, or sometimes jerky, movement of the door. It's a fascinating process, when you break it down. Or maybe not fascinating at all.
The click of the button. It's a subtle sound, often overlooked. A small, almost insignificant, auditory confirmation that the signal has been sent. Sometimes it's a sharp click, sometimes a softer thud. It depends on the specific design of the button, the materials used, the tension of the spring. It's a tiny detail, but it's part of the overall experience. the tactile feedback, the auditory cue. It's all part of the interaction. The button itself, it's often made of plastic, a durable yet inexpensive material. It can withstand years of use, thousands of presses. It's designed to be functional, not necessarily aesthetically pleasing. Though some garage door openers do have more stylish buttons, with chrome finishes or backlit displays.
Chrome finishes, backlit displays. It's a world of subtle variations, isn't it? The world of garage door opener buttons. A world of subtle clicks and muted colors. A world of wireless signals and electromagnetic radiation. It's a world we rarely think about, yet it's there, all around us, silently facilitating the opening and closing of our garage doors. Day after day, year after year. It's quite something. Or perhaps not.
It is. Or isn't. The point is, it's there. The button. The signal. The door. It's a system, a process. And it works. Most of the time. And when it doesn't, well, that's a topic for another time, perhaps. Or perhaps not. But for now, let's just appreciate the simplicity, the complexity, the sheer ordinariness of the garage door opener button.
Indeed. Let us appreciate the button in all its unremarkable glory.
The button, yes. The button.
We were talking about the button, the one on the wall, the one for the garage door. And it got me thinking about buttons in general. They're just, there. Little squares or circles, sometimes rectangles, and you push them. Or sometimes they're touch sensitive now, which is different, I guess. Not really pushing, more like a gentle press. But still, the same basic idea. A way to tell something else to do something. Like the garage door opener button tells the garage door to open. Or close, depending on the state it's in, of course. Which is a whole other thing. States of being. Open, closed, on, off. Up, down. It's almost philosophical, isn't it?
Yes, the button. The button on the wall. Often beige, sometimes white, occasionally gray. Perhaps even a slightly different shade of beige. There it is, affixed to the wall, waiting. Waiting for the press, the gentle nudge, the activation. It's a passive thing until acted upon. A silent sentinel of the garage door's destiny. And it's not just garage doors, is it? Buttons are everywhere. On remotes, on microwaves, on car dashboards. All waiting, patiently waiting, for that interaction. For the human touch. Or perhaps not even human. A dog could nudge a button, I suppose. A cat, maybe, if it were so inclined. The possibilities are, well, they're there, existing. Like the button itself.
It's remarkable, isn't it? How such a small, unassuming object can have so much potential. The power to open and close a large, heavy door, or to turn on a light, or change the channel on the television. Small things affecting larger things. It's a kind of leverage, I suppose. A small input for a large output, like a lever and a fulcrum. Or a small seed growing into a large tree. Although, that takes time. More time than it takes to open a garage door, certainly. Unless it's a very slow garage door opener. Some of them are quite slow. Deliberate, even.
Slowness. Yes. A certain deliberateness. It's a quality often overlooked in our fast-paced world. We rush, we hurry, we scurry. But the garage door, it takes its time, moving upwards, inch by inch, revealing the space within. Or downwards, concealing, closing off. A slow, steady process. Like watching paint dry, some might say. There's a certain peace in that slowness. A gentle rhythm. A predictability. You know what to expect. Up, down, open, closed. The same, every time. The comforting constant in a world of variables.
Variables. Yes, so many variables. Unpredictable things. The weather, for instance. One day it's sunny, the next it's raining. Or the traffic. Sometimes it flows smoothly. Sometimes it's not smooth. Stop and go. Hurry up and wait. It can be frustrating. Unlike the garage door is consistent. Reliable. You press the button, and it does its thing. Opens or closes. Simple. Efficient. No surprises. A welcome respite from the chaos of the world outside.
Outside. Yes, the outside. A vast, complex space. full of unknowns, uncertainties. But inside the garage, it's different. Contained. Ordered. A place for cars and tools and other things. Things we keep stored away. Hidden from the outside world. Protected. Safe. Like a sanctuary. A place of refuge. A quiet space. Where the only sound is the gentle hum of the garage door opener. A comforting sound. A familiar sound.
A hum. Yes, the hum. A low, steady drone. A sign of activity. Of something happening. Or perhaps not happening. If the door is already open, or already closed, then the hum is absent. Silence. Stillness. Just the button on the wall. Waiting. Patiently waiting. For the next press. The next command. The next cycle of open and close. A simple, repetitive action. But one that holds a certain significance.
Significance. Yes. Perhaps. Or perhaps not. It's just a garage door after all. A simple mechanism. A way to keep things in and keep things out. A barrier between the inside and the outside. A boundary. A delineation. A thing. Just a thing. Existing. Like the button. And the wall. And the hum. And us.
So as we were saying, or perhaps not, these garage door opener buttons, the ones clipped to the visor in your car, they're quite something. Or rather, they aren't. They just sit there, really. Mostly unnoticed until needed. And then, when pressed, they send a signal. A silent, invisible signal. Like a whisper in the void. Or perhaps more like a shout, but one that only the garage door can hear. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? About all the other silent signals flying through the air, unseen and unheard. We're surrounded by them, probably, but this isn't about those, is it? It's about the garage door opener button. The simple, unassuming button that performs its singular function, day after day, year after year. Remarkable in its unremarkableness, wouldn't you agree? Or not?
Yes, the remarkable unremarkableness. Quite a thought. Or perhaps not a thought at all. More of a gentle drifting, a meandering of the mind. And the button itself. So ordinary, so commonplace. A small plastic rectangle, often gray or black, sometimes beige. Clicked onto the visor, waiting patiently. Waiting for the push, the activation. And within that small plastic shell, a tiny circuit board, a battery. And the magic, so to speak, that sends the signal. Invisible waves traveling through the ether, communicating with the corresponding receiver in the garage. Up goes the door, or down it comes. A simple action, repeated countless times. And yet, within that simplicity, there's a certain something. Or perhaps nothing at all. It's hard to say, really.
Indeed, it is hard to say. And perhaps it's best left unsaid. The mystery, if you can call it that, of the garage door opener, the quiet hum of the motor as the door glides along its track, the click of the button, the subtle vibration. These are the things we notice, or don't notice, the everyday occurrences that blend into the background noise of existence. Like the ticking of a clock, or the gentle whir of a refrigerator, always present, yet rarely acknowledged. And so the garage door opens, and closes, and opens again, a cycle, a rhythm, a predictable pattern, in a world of unpredictability. Or is it? Perhaps there's more to it than meets the eye. Or perhaps not.
More to it, or less. Who can say, really? It opens, it closes. A simple mechanical operation, driven by a simple electrical impulse. And yet, it serves a purpose. Elation. It keeps the car safe, protected from the elements. And it allows us entry, a portal between the outside world and the sanctuary of the garage. Oh, a liminal space, neither fully inside nor fully outside. A transition zone. And the button, the humble button, facilitates this transition. A silent intermediary between intention and action. Press the button, and the door moves. Cause and effect. A fundamental principle of the universe, playing out in the mundane act of opening a garage door. Or is it mundane? Perhaps it's profound. Or perhaps not.
Profound or mundane, it certainly is something. Or perhaps nothing. The button, the the signal, the door. A trilogy of sorts, a silent play, enacted countless times a day, in garages across the land. And what are the times it doesn't work? The times the signal fails? Or the battery dies? Or the mechanism jams? These too are part of the story. The occasional hiccups. The brief interruptions in the otherwise smooth flow of operation. Moments of frustration, perhaps, or mild annoyance. But even these moments are fleeting, quickly forgotten as the door eventually opens, or closes, resuming its predictable dance. Up and down, gentle rhythm. A lullaby of sorts.
A lullaby of opening and closing. Yes, that's a way to put it. Or another way might be, well, I'm not sure actually. Point is, or perhaps isn't, that the garage door opener, in its simplicity, offers a certain comfort. A sense of order, of predictability. Press the button, and the door responds. A small victory, a tiny triumph over the chaos of the world. Or perhaps not a victory at all, just a thing that happens. A small event, barely registering on the scale of significance. And yet, it is there. A constant, a reliable presence in our lives. Or at least, most of the time.
Most of the time. Yes, that's an important qualifier, because there are those times, as we've discussed, or perhaps not, when it doesn't work. And then what? Then we are faced with a problem, a challenge, a disruption in the routine. We may have to get out of the car, manually open the door, perhaps struggle with a stiff mechanism, a minor inconvenience certainly, but an inconvenience nonetheless. And in those moments, we are reminded of the fragility of the system, the delicate balance upon which it all depends. The button, the signal, the door, a chain of events, easily broken. Or perhaps not easily broken, but breakable nonetheless. And so we appreciate, or perhaps don't appreciate, the times when it does work, when the button performs its function flawlessly, effortlessly, the silent hum of the motor, the smooth glide of the door. A small miracle, or perhaps not a miracle at all.
A small miracle, or just a thing that happens. It's a matter of perspective, really. Or perhaps it isn't. Perhaps it's simply a matter of being too tired to think about it anymore. The garage door, the button, the signal. It all seems so distant now, fading into the background, like a half-remembered dream. Or perhaps not a dream at all, just the quiet hum of existence. The gentle rhythm of the everyday. The opening and closing, the coming and going. And so we drift, slowly, gently, into the quiet stillness of the night. Or perhaps not.
Thank you for joining us. Let go of the day and drift softly into rest. There's nothing more to do, nothing more to think about. Just this moment. Just your breath, just peace. Sleep well.
Good night and sweet dreams.